Celtics Talk Podcast is presented by 24autogroup.com. 11 locations across New England.
What's up, everybody? Off the edition of the Celtics Talk Podcast. I have dragged Kayla Burton into the podcast studio.
Dragged.
I'm
happy to be here.
I appreciate that. Here's what we got going on. We've been doing a bunch of. We had a busy week last week, not only with the sale of the Celtics or the agreement to purchase the team, but we were over at Auerbach Center for some interviews with the players. If you haven't seen Hoopin' yet with Derek White, it's up on the YouTube page.
He was
I think your Hoopin' is so important. I asked to put it in the pod. They're like, no, Hoopin' is its own entity.
Hoopin' needs to grow. We can't. It's not deserving to just jump on in the pod here. But I appreciate the hype.
I'm telling you, I was reading the comments on the YouTube page. People are loving
the hype for Hoopin'.
Hoopin' hype. But before we get into some of the stuff that I did with the players, I'm going to kind of bounce some stuff off you there. Let's talk Jayson Tatum. We're recording this on, I don't even know what day it is, Tuesday evening, during our little break from early edition. And
March 25th.
We have not gotten a update yet on Jayson Tatum. We suspect there'll be at least an injury report. I don't know how much you'll be able to gauge from that because it's going to be just like, oh, Tatum is not playing tomorrow against Phoenix, which is, I'm just guessing there. The bigger thing is, will the team release something about how long he's going to be out? But I guess day after now, 12, 14 hours removed, how are you feeling? Are you any less panicked?
I feel,
yes. The tea leaves?
I feel less panicked. You actually, I'm cracking up because you were just on early edition and Trenny was like, how are you feeling? And you were like, well, in the moment, I almost fell out of my chair, which is so true because you see this guy grab his ankle and I just felt like the end.
Right.
Like I was like, that's it. I need it's too good to be, and I still knock on wood. Definitely knocking. But no, I do feel relieved. I feel like it was a scare probably to him. I mean, obviously,
it can't feel good for your ankle.
No, again, we talked about that. The same ankle that he's already injured before. Yep. We've seen this happen now a few times.
Yep. Landed on Giannis earlier this year. He missed or Game 7. He was limited against the Heat in 2023 Eastern Conference Finals because he landed awkwardly early. And it is worrisome when it's the same ankle, same left ankle.
I've done that playing pickup, and listen. I ain't Jayson Tatum, so you guys are not nearly as stressed of me doing that. But it's a real crap feeling. Like you get really nervous. It bends the wrong way, and then you do feel that really quick, sharp pain.
Yep.
But hopefully, in his case scenario, it does go away. I mean, there were reports, people in that locker room, reporters saying he was laughing. He had the shoes beside him. Like he's
never been more excited by someone's ability to put on two shoes.
Yes.
Because in that instance, all you can think about is like one shoe and a boot, or one shoe and a sock and crutches, and so it's an encouraging sign that he was feeling that good. But I always say, you got to wait till overnight. They had to get on a plane today and get down to Phoenix. I'm sure there was some imaging along the way. It comes down to what's the grade of it. Is it a grade 1 sprain, which I believe, it means like a week out? Is it grade 2 or grade 3? It could be more like a month. They do have 25 days to play with here. And if we're being honest, they probably shouldn't need Jayson Tatum in round 1 to get through. But undeniably, you just want to hope that he can get back up. And he's been so durable throughout his career that the last thing you need to deal with on a season where, all right, we're getting some momentum now, you're chugging towards 60 wins, maybe the best road record in franchise history, is to be like, is Jayson Tatum going to be all right when the games really matter in April, May, and June?
That's all that matters, right? Will he be ready when it comes playoff time? And the other thing, too, Chris, is this may be, I hope, a blessing in disguise of him being forced to rest.
Right.
Because the dude does not rest. And maybe it takes a little bit of a, this may be a scare. Hey, let's just rest you for a sec. So hopefully it is a blessing in disguise. He sits out for, as long as he possibly can. I never knew I would be cheering for that.
I do think that the irony, I was telling you this, is that, I think he popped up on the injury report. They all did going into that back-to-back. And I think it was set up where, can you find a guy a day off in there? And, obviously Jaylen was dealing with the knee, so Tatum played that first game in Portland. I wonder if they had even just maybe said, hey, do you feel like you want to take a night off? And he's Jayson Tatum, so he doesn't. And then this happens.
Never.
And so, you can play the game all you want. Guys rest all the time and still get hurt. So it happens. Hopefully it is just a minor thing. But we're just so lucky that Tatum's been so healthy, that he's just been so available. The good news for him, he's already hit the 66 games, so he's eligible for All-NBA.
Did your appreciation go up for him?
100%.
Like just, in that moment?
What is it? Separation makes the heart grow fonder.
Right.
You need to be reminded sometimes of how fortunate you are that we just, Jayson Tatum's going to play. It's a Monday night in Sacramento. He's going to play, And so now we're going to have to deal with maybe a Wednesday night in Phoenix and a Friday night in, I don't even know where
Spurs?
they are Friday.
San Antonio?
Yeah, let's go with that. Saturday.
Saturday,
That's
Saturday.
right. They had another 2 days off. So, because I can't even remember the schedule.
I know.
But I just
10 more games.
Jayson Tatum, if he's available to play, would want to be out there. I'm hopeful, like you said, it might not be a bad thing if he had to downshift. A lot of basketball over the past 18 months. I think they were going to downshift him a little bit anyway at the finish line, but I think he was going to try to get
One thing I will add too, Chris, I really liked how the other guys stepped up in that moment.
Immediately,
especially.
too, right?
Immediately.
Like no shell shock. Just
even guys, who we probably aren't going to see a whole lot in the playoffs, like Baylor, but also Derek White, like Peyton Pritchard, those guys, Luke Kornet. Like, it was really refreshing to see, like, okay, hey, our star is down. How are we going to show ourselves? Like, let's not only play for him, but we don't know the status of his injury, so let's make sure we handle business. Yes, it was just against the Sacramento Kings, but good to see those guys kind of step up.
Also, hopefully we're not jinxing anything.
I'm knocking on wood, man.
Exactly.
I'm telling you, I'm not even playing games with that.
I thought about waiting to record this, but we might.
We have to talk about it.
Again, every indication has been positive, both inside, internally. Hopefully that optimism persists through the day. To go from one sort of downer of a subject, because we're just left hoping that Tatum's going to be all right, to some more fun stuff. What my job on the other day, as we kind of gear up for the playoffs, was to get some content around these Celtics. And what I found is that I try to get some levity. And
this was so good. This really was one of my favorite segments that you've done.
Well, so we're going to do 4 of them. So I don't even know which one you're most excited about.
I won't spoiler alert it.
Well, here's what we're going to do.
Okay.
I'm going to toss them all. We're going to the one I love the most is leading off. And so one of the requests was that if we're going to do these interviews, like, could we get players together to peel back the curtain a little bit? And so I've always wanted to get superstars together because I think they can ease each other a little bit and open things up a little bit. So we asked for Jaylen and Kristaps to come over and try and do it at the same time, which a little cookies and cream action. And it's funny. There's some more stuff that will come out. The intro was hilarious when I was asking about what the cookies and creams adventures have been like this season. You'll hear that down the road. But we got on the topic of Luke, and the question was very generically, do you have any good Luke stories? Because everyone seems to have a Luke story, right? Like there's more of those coming throughout this process. And Jaylen lights up like a Christmas tree. I mean, the joy on his face as he is recounting. Well, you know what? I'll just stop explaining it. You can listen to this, and we'll come back and react. Here's JB telling about how Luke almost probably should have fought Giannis Antetokounmpo. Any good Luke stories?
A couple games earlier in the season when we were playing against Milwaukee, and Giannis was throwing some elbows.
Oh, football, the elbow. No question about that.
And he tried to hit me with the fake. Luke came to me, and this is the first time I've seen Luke serious. And he was like, I didn't like that. He was like, he's straight faced, and I was like, it's whatever, Giannis is a child. And he was like, I should have did something. I was like, what were you gonna do, Luke?
He said you were very serious, and he had not seen you that serious before. You were lamenting that you had not been more of an enforcer in that moment.
That was extremely well said. Lamenting that I wasn't more of an enforcer was exactly what happened.
Big words being thrown around here.
There's a certain time, I'm generally a peacemaker type of person. And you realize sometimes there's an appropriate level of this is unacceptable. I think I've been growing in my defending, protecting justice.
He was just like, I should have did something. I didn't like that. And I was right there. And I contemplated it. And I thought about it.
I think I kind of looked away.
And I analyzed it.
I kind of knew what happened.
And I did nothing.
And then I was just angry at myself for not having been like a vigilante and taken justice into my own hands.
But I should have did something.
Have you ever been in a fight in your life?
Have I ever been in a fight in my life? I got 3 days of lunch duty once for... I didn't really get in a fight. Me and my friend sort of took this. No, not really. In short.
What were you going to do, Luke? Luke had and then so
Luke was mad.
He really was.
And I don't think I've seen Jaylen smile like that.
My gosh.
You're right. He lit up. He's like, Luke's my dog.
Yeah.
Luke's my guy.
Again, we're always so serious with these questions, and we have to be, right?
Yeah.
Like the basketball is, it for all intents and purposes, is like it's wins and losses, and like what's going well, what's not. But I just love that Jaylen. He had been. I don't know if I'm sure he talked about it with other people, but when the subject of Luke came up, was the first thing that jumped to his mind, and he wanted to go down that path. And then I love that. Luckily, we had Luke coming into the room next with Sam Hauser, and as soon as it comes up, you see Luke is processing it, and he's such a good storyteller, and he's trying to set it up appropriately without trying to suggest he was too worked up. But yeah, you could tell there was a little bit.
Luke was like the guy. You go in middle school and you're picking, the kickball team, and you're picking your roster, and one guy gets left behind. The worst one is like getting left behind, and there's a bully situation. He's like, we don't do that here, and that's what Luke wanted to go do to Giannis Antetokounmpo.
I love that. Protect. I forgot what the protector of
emotion.
Joy or whatever he said.
Oh, justice, protector.
Yes.
Yes.
And he was like upset.
I was protecting justice.
Protecting justice. He was mad that he had not in that moment stood up more for Jaylen Brown. And you can see how much, Jaylen loves it. Jaylen knows, what are you going to do? No one's going to fight Giannis, right?
Luke will.
But the fact that it all played out like that, and that Luke still has some regret. And I wish we could have a Celtics Bucks playoff series, because maybe there would be some additional spice there. Alas, we will not get it. Luke.
Chris, that was a great job, though. Really.
Luke, please keep on protecting justice.
Keep on luking.
Are you ready to enter the realm of affordable luxury? Jrue Kornet here with 24 Infinity of Plymouth, where performance comes for less.
Right now, lock in 2.9% APR financing for 60 months on a new Infinity QX80 Lux.
Ready to trade and upgrade? You'll get top dollar for your trade. Visit 24 Infinity of Plymouth at 151 Samoset Street and online at 24infinityofplymouth.com.
Next up, just another Luke story. Again, you will see a through line to all this, like Luke Kornet just taking my dumb questions and finding a way to make them great. This one was spawned by, a couple weeks ago, the NBA mic'd up Kristaps Porzingis before a game. Might have been that Sunday matinee against the Knicks or Saturday night matinee, whatever it was. And so they mic'd up Kristaps, and you hear him in the huddle on the court saying, "Where my doggies at?" And everyone woofs, which is a continuation of they've been road dogs. Jaylen used to say it all the time in the playoffs. But then they broke the huddle with 1, 2, 3 Baja. And I've heard Baja thrown around a lot around this team, and I never knew what it was. And in fact, I embarrassed myself trying to figure out what it was. But here's Luke and JB and KP trying to help me figure out what 1, 2, 3 Baja means. You were mic'd up, and you said, "Where my road dogs?"
Where my doggies at? One more time.
Where did that come from? And the 1, 2, 3 Baja?
Baja 3, 1, 2, 3 Baja.
Where did that? Tell me about that.
It's way too invested.
Right. No, honestly, it's that was his thing. Like he was always like, where my dog's at, da da da. And then Baja is a Luke's thing, so I just did like a mix of everything, and that's pretty much our pregame speech.
Is the Baja because of the Baja men saying who let the dogs out, or is Baja something else?
Nah, I don't know.
Man, these are things people ask me.
Also, we have to also keep it just for us sometimes, Like Baja is like our internal thing that we don't want,
I'm just saying.
But it's a Luke thing, so maybe Luke can explain it better.
I'll take it. I'm sure he will want to talk about it.
Luke heard it from me. I think he'll tell you that.
I think I took it from Wade Baldwin the fourth, my college teammate.
But I don't know where I got it from.
To be honest, I don't really remember what the origin of that was. Kind of liked it.
I have no idea what it means.
JB's kind of taking it in, and it kind of just takes a life of its own.
It's like just getting straight to the Baja.
Take it to the Baja.
We're not playing around, we're getting straight to the Baja.
Pollo a la Baja.
Finish your breakfast and you get straight to the Baja.
Chicken to the Baja.
Those that know.
I don't know what any of these things mean. Sometimes it's not really about that.
Polo a la Baja. Polo a la Baja.
Polo a la Baja. And then the back and forthness of Luke trying to figure out, like, wait, what is Baja? Do I know it? I'm not sure.
I think my favorite part was when Jaylen goes, he heard it from me, which is absolutely true. Like, Jaylen has gotten this. And then we flash to Luke, and Luke goes, I heard it from Wade Baldwin the fourth, like 5 years ago. And it's true. I think what happened was, like, Luke had used it because Luke is hilarious. Like, and Sam says it. I don't think it made the video cut. But Sam says if you are listening closely to games and someone drives to the basket, you will sometimes hear Luke's voice bellowing from the bench, Baja. And so Jaylen kind of must have ran with it the last couple of years. And,
and he owns it.
But it's so funny when he's, they're all trying to explain it to me. And Jaylen is just like, finish your breakfast and straight to the Baja.
Straight to the Baja. Didn't they say chicken or something?
Yeah, well,
Baja chicken?
That's when Luke did the chicken Baja.
Chicken Baja.
Then, Polo a la Baja. And then he's like, I don't know what any of these things mean. But he just loves screaming it. So now, I mean, you're gonna get sick of it. But every time we do a highlight now that someone goes hard to the basket, what I believe, and maybe Wade Baldwin will respond to my Instagram, but the origin seems to be so Shaq used to call guys that he dominated in the paint barbecue chicken, Baja chicken, like some sort of spin off of that.
Okay.
But like how it went from to the Baja to the I don't know. The Celtics have just made
they
it their
just
own.
added layers to it.
It's
the best part is Luke owns and admit I don't think we would have discovered this ever if Chris Forsberg did not ask this question and to find out that Luke this whole time is going. That's how much of a ride or die this guy is for his teammates, going along with sayings like this, owning it, and still not knowing what it actually means.
I don't ask a lot of questions. And I ask mostly stupid questions.
No,
but
it's
sometimes
fantastic.
a stupid question gets a great answer. And I am thankful that
these are winners.
On this day, the Celtics were more than content to deal with my tomfoolery.
You know what you did? You put your pride aside and you asked the real hard-hitting Baja questions. Like, what does this mean? Because in the audience, you think we actually know, like, when they say Baja, like, where my dog is at, like, we're like, what is that even mean?
I thought it was the Baja Men, this group from the 2000s that sang Who Let the Dogs Out. I was way off.
But at least you guessed that. I'm sitting here like, I didn't even think twice about it. I'm like, I'm just going to have to live my life never knowing what this is.
The funny part is, so again, there's another little scene coming from JB and KP. And so they're already kind of laughing at me for this thing that will come out eventually. And then I follow up with, okay, what is 1, 2, 3 Baja? And Jaylen, you might have heard it in the clip, says, y'all are way too invested. Like, because there's surface level love.
Are we invested or are we just? Great, heightened, enhanced observers.
It's the nerdy stuff that gets me going. I want to know. I always ask Kristaps his coffee order. He was drinking tea that day to warm up. I love the super nerdy stuff about this team.
It's great
because it spawns some of the better topics. Now, one of the other nerdy things that I asked was we got Jrue Holiday in the room. And he comes in, he's got the big black wrap on his mallet finger, on his pinky finger, on his right shooting hand. And lately he's debuted a new celebration, and, well, I'll let him tell you. Lead me through your celly. So last year you were doing like just a little bouncy three?
Yeah, I don't even know where that came from. I think it just started happening, or maybe I saw somebody like hold up a three like this, and then I started, letting the threes fly, and then obviously,
so now are we like
Dr. Evil?
Dr. Evil.
Dr. Evil, yeah.
Did that?
This is for the older people.
Just organic, or
it's for the older people in the room. I had to tell Jordan who Dr. Evil was, so.
That's humbling, right? Like
for sure. But yeah, I think after I ended up putting the cast on, I think I just ended up. A lot of people were just like, "Man, you should," like, or maybe I'm just sending pictures of them like doing the Dr. Evil, and they're like, "Oh man, you should do it when you make a three." So then. It ended up happening.
It's kind of elite, on a team full of good celebrations.
Yeah, I think the best ones are the organic ones, the ones that just come naturally, and I think that came pretty naturally.
Kayla, you old enough for Austin Powers?
Okay. I'm gonna keep it 100 on this pod because we don't lie in the pod. I am old enough for Austin Powers. I was not an Austin Powers chick. I didn't really watch him.
Really?
You're gonna hate. I was on.
So
that, yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to do the math in my head. Like, so the funny part about that video, of course, is that Jordan Walsh had no idea who or what the Austin Powers series was.
I know that. I'm not that far gone.
And And honestly, there's been talk about a fourth movie for going on what feels like 20 years now. And so it's a little disappointing that Jordan hasn't been aware to this, but he's also the one who said he started watching The Godfather and said he had to turn it off because it was in black and white. It was not, the movie was not in black and white. So we have to question his judgment a little bit. And so
did he say that?
He really did.
Jeez.
Al Horford told me he had to watch the Godfather movies, and he's like, I just couldn't get through it. It's too old. And everyone's like, wait, what? So I do love that Jrue Holiday at 34, going to be 35, right around the time the Celtics win another championship. He said it was a little bit humbling to hear Jordan not know, And then you start doing the math on birthdays, and you're like, man.
Because Walsh is 20?
Yeah, so we have 2004, I believe is his birthday. And he just turned 21.
God. And you're kind of disrespecting it. Like, I couldn't handle the black and white. I mean,
yeah, right?
Like,
but
what?
no, the funny part is it's not black and white.
I know.
No,
I'm talking even The Godfather, though. Like, he just
but what was he watching?
I think he was trying to own. He's like, oh, yeah, I know what I'm talking about. But he was still wrong.
Right. So I appreciate Jrue used to do this. I call it like the bouncy three. Turns out that was letting the threes fly. And so if you watch the Celtics bench, they all have hilarious reactions every time, depending on who's making the three. So they would always bounce the threes when Jrue was on fire from the corner last year. But now, for as long as that mallet finger is mallet fingering, it's $1 million, $32 million or whatever he's earning this season. All right, the last one we end on a slightly more sentimental note. One of my favorite things, although the question spawned because Al Horford's son Ian, who has not only been with the team and on the bench at home for most of the games, got to go on a recent road trip, and he came rushing off the bench, I believe it was Miami, when Derek White was on fire in the fourth quarter and gave him a flying chest bump. And I wanted to know what Al thought of Ian being that hyped up that he is running out to the floor. Here's Al's perspective on getting his son involved more with the team this season. Tell me about having Ian along for the journey. Watching him rush off the bench the other night to celebrate with Derek. What was that like? What's it been like to have him as part of this?
Yeah, pretty special. My wife and I talked about it because she was, I think last year she was like, I think he's ready to, to be out there, in the locker room with you guys a little more. And I was like, okay. And he loves the Celtics. He loves our team. So for me, it's just been pretty special for me to share those moments with him, to watch his interest continue to grow, and more than anything to see the team embrace him. The players embrace him. Joe embraces him. Our assistant coaches, like just everybody. They make him feel a part of it, and that's, to me, that's pretty special.
Has he started giving you any advice yet, like telling you what you should be doing out there?
All he's worried about is us, just getting it done in June. So, that's
like father, like son.
That's what he keeps talking about. So he's locked in as well.
You're crying. I'm not crying. Like I get sentimental when I because I can't. I just listening to him talk about how him and his wife sit down and have this is he ready? Is Ian ready to be around the team more? And as you know, I brought my girls to the Garden for the first time. Yes, I'm a horrible dad. You do not need to go into the YouTube comments and say how do you even cover the team?
Oh, stop! We're not doing that.
It is expensive to go to TD Garden. Yeah. We've taken them on the road. We've made it like a family trip, but I got to bring my girls over there for the first time, like let alone sit on the bench and do all that. And it's like, I don't know, it was cool to expose them to that world. It's got to be cool for Al, who had Tito around for a lot of these playoff runs. He's a dad and former NBA guy, to now be the third generation of Horfords is around for everything.
And shout out both of you guys for being girl dads too, and Al for being dad in general to Ian as well. But it's so cool. We get the luxury of going to these games and going to the Garden, and I see Ian and Al's wife front row courtside, and his wife is so locked into when he's hitting, that top of the key
She's
tray.
Taking cell phone videos.
She does not.
Love
that
it.
girl's storage. It has to be like the what is it? Tribegatite, whatever.
Yeah.
Try whatever, because she's so locked in that way. But Ian has so much passion, and Al loves being dad. Like I've done this community event with him, and it was all these middle schoolers, girls, and he's coming off of a red eye, like from the Detroit and Toronto trip, and he was just talking about one of his favorite things. I go, Al, if you were to have a business card, what would it say on it? And he said, number one, just being dad. And it really goes to show.
Also being a multi-time champion.
Yeah.
He
did throw those
about
bullet
to be
points
twice
on there,
in the
too.
NBA. He's going to be Hall of Famer, but a Hall of Fame dad.
But what a
one
cool
up there.
relationship and dynamic he has with Ian. And I think it just adds a whole nother layer to
All right,
this.
so give me the backstory. When was the first time Steve Burton dragged you into a studio and set you on this path?
You know, oh God, I think I was 7. I was young, and it was only because my mom was taking my older sister and younger brother to like a soccer practice, and the other two, Veronica and I, had to go and hang out in the studio. And of course, me, just talking as much as I am here, was talking at the age of 7, yapping behind the set. My dad's like, Kayla, shh. So mine wasn't and I wasn't allowed to, express myself the way Ian gets to do.
Sure.
But those moments matter. I mean, I watched my dad and I got into it.
From that 7th grade or age 7 cameo.
Yeah.
When did you start thinking like this is something I'd want to do?
Not till college. I went
Really?
in high school. I saw what he was doing, and I saw how much fun he had, like getting to meet all these incredible athletes, celebrities, even just the games that the historic games, the Super Bowls that he went to. And I go, this is work. This can be work. Now the work putting into it is another layer. But in high school, I definitely peeped the idea of like, okay, I think I want to be in broadcasting. And then it got more serious after college and post-college. But, those moments matter. The dad bringing me to the games. Your daughters are so appreciative of what you do.
We joke about it all the time that there's a version of the Celtics in 2000. I'm going to get the math wrong here, but let's say it's 2035 that has Ian Horford and Deuce Tatum on the roster, taking the torch from dads. And, I do think when you expose them to that, it at least gives them the opportunity to decide, is this something I want to do? And it is funny watching Ian and Deuce out there battling one-on-one and, warming up before games. And I don't know, again, sentimental dad time comes in for me, and I start appreciating it.
No, it's real, though. It's real.
And I got to think for Al, like, you've accomplished so much. Winning is obviously the ultimate goal, and he does everything he can to put himself in position to be successful. But there also has to be a moment where he steps back, and in that moment, you're just a dad. And it's got to be cool to just watch your kid kind of embracing the moment. And the one thing you hear in that clip is how appreciative Al is that coaching staff, the players, everybody. You see him like Tony Dobbins walks over and throws his arm around him, and there's a great appreciation for okay, you're part of the legacy here, and we're going to treat you well on the court, because sometimes guys can just be like, get your kid out of here.
Yeah, but not everyone gets to do that. But
Joe Mazzulla has family days over at Auerbach Center where we walk in for a practice and there's 1,000 kids running around on that court because everyone brings their kids in, and so I don't know. That's enough sentimental dad. For
no,
me,
it's great, and I think it just goes to show how tightly knit this team is, like how put together they are, how much they support each other. No one's jealous of like, oh, my kid should be here, your kid is here. Like they genuinely are rooting for each other, and it's it's showing on the court and off. Great work, Chris. That was fun.
Thank you.
A lot of fun.
I'm just checking my Twitter feed to make sure we haven't missed anything while my phone's been silent.
Any
for the last
breaking?
hour.
Any Jayson updates?
No late breaking updates yet. But maybe I'll drag Kayla back in here because we're going to do another one of these next week. I'm looking ahead to what's coming down the pipeline. You might have some Peyton Pritchard content.
Yes. Baylor. What about some Baylor? Did you guys? You definitely.
We did not get Baylor, ironically, but.
Sorry. Okay, for
no.
Stuff.
But I have some nerdy stuff on him that we're actually trying to effort before the playoffs arrive. Yeah, like there was some stuff that was said when he was having that big game against the Nets the other night, and Luke was screaming behind. I need Luke yet again to help me put together the full Baylor backstory.
Oh, I'm excited for this one.
Until then, go go subscribe, go check us out on the YouTube page. Go watch Hoopin'. Watch it like twice.
Hoopin'. I don't know why I say it like that.
We'll catch you. Post-game pod is back tomorrow night, super late, after party after the Phoenix Suns game. We'll catch you next time on the Celtics.